Hey, hey, hey. Love Dr. Nikki from Oranum.com here. Welcome to week 3 in my series of videos on palmistry. Today we're going to talk about something a lot of people don't look at when they think about palmistry, and that's the mounts on the hand. And the mounts are named after the planets. And we're going to do a quick run through of them. And we're going to start with the Venus mount, which is the mount that's just under the palm of the thumb and stretches out to the palm of the hand. If it's a well-developed one, it means you're an affectionate, loving person who cares deeply for those. If the mount is really high in appearance, that means the greater passion you carry with you about the things in your life. And if it's a low mountain kind of not puffy. It talks about gentle words and phrases are better to help you achieve a state of contentment easier. Now, the inner Mars is right here. It's in between the Venus mount and the Jupiter mount. A lot of times it's not a real big one. And the inner Mars is, if it's firm, it talks about you being a courageous person and being not afraid to step out in the front and do things first. And if it's a softer or lower mount, it means you avoid confrontation with others and go out of your way to do so. Not always a bad thing. Then we have the Jupiter mount, which is just below the Jupiter finger. And if it's strong, it talks about having a high tendency towards public life. If it's wide and high, it talks about being able to inspire others, and it's kind of second nature. And if it's spongy rather than firm, it talks about maybe having a little overdeveloped sense of who you are. Now, the Saturn mount is the mount under the middle finger. And with a strong mount, it indicates that you might find it difficult to express how you feel to others in a way they understand. If it's wide and high, it talks about just like being in large groups of people as they make you maybe uncomfortable or uneasy. And if it's spongy and firm, then you talk about it, you can have a difficult time seeing the world as it really is. Then we move on to the Apollo finger, which is the ring finger. And if you have a strong Apollo mount below the ring finger, you have an upbeat character and a sense of imagination that kind of charms others. You're fun to be with. If it's a wide and high mount, it talks about you can make your mark on a project or situation readily, and you positively see it as a second nature to you. And the last one, the large mount on the Apollo mount, indicates that you have a great ability to tell a story that is based on truth, but retold with verb and embellishment. Then we have the Mercury mount, which is right under the little finger. And that talks about somebody who's affectionate and would make a good partner to others. If it's undeveloped, you might have to fight an impractical nature that comes across as sincere. If it's situated over towards the ring finger, it talks about being a cheerful person and a lighthearted look on life. And if it forms one large mount with the Apollo mount, it's a highly creative person that can bring a lot to their endeavors. Now, the outer Mars indicates if it's firm that you have a strong control of your personal self and you rarely lose it. And if it's a soft or low mount, you prefer to be with small groups rather than large. On the lunar mount, which is the one below the outer Mars, that's this one right here on the corner of the outside of the palm, indicates that if it's a firm and clear, it indicates you are imaginative and can easily spend an afternoon allowing your imagination running wild. If it's soft mount with little height, your outlook on life is based on what you personally see, feel, and hear. Where if it's a large mount, you have strong intuition upon which you can really rely and help others. Then we look at the Neptune mount, and that's the mount that's right here between the Venus mount and the lunar mount. And the Neptune mount talks about if it's a firm mount, someone who is quick-witted and think on their feet fast. If it's soft with very little height, that's someone who tends to wait to hear what others have to say before they voice their opinion. And lastly, if it's a large mount with visible height, talks about someone whose friends probably seek them out for counsel and guidance. I hope that's given you just a little bit of an idea of what the mounts on the palm can tell you. And I hope you'll turn in next week when we look a little deeper on some of the special lines. We'll talk to you then, and I hope you'll stop by my chat room at oranum.com. I'm Love Dr. Nikki, and have a great day.